Hey, family, what's going on? Share, like, subscribe, everything you can do right now. Y'all, first and foremost, how y'all doing this festive evening? I must say, there's so much going on, y'all, right now. I said, I cannot let this day pass. I can't even wait to the evening to do this stuff. Y'all know I'm usually doing the nighttime stuff. That's the realm I'm in. Nighttime. But it's so much going on. I said, I can't wait. Can I wait? We got so much going on from rides and the race rides in the UK to the stock market crashing. What else? Israel and Iran. The escalation is getting higher and higher. Yo, let me give me a little some water or something. Cause we finna talk real quick. Give me a little water. A little water. Here we go. I don't want water. Here we go. All right, y'all. Recession fears. Y'all watching CNN right now. They have fears of a recession, y'all. Got me a little something to drink. Let me get my little glasses. Y'all ain't. Oh, I almost broke the glasses. Did I break them? I don't know. Okay. I'm not turning my camera on because my head look a mess right now. Y'all, it's going down right now. The U.S. right now, I don't know where to start. Y'all tell me where to start. Where y'all want me to start? Because right now, UK riots, Israel-Iran war, and first, let me say hello to the family. Y'all share this. We finna have a good talk. I got about a good hour. We finna have a good talk because this is crazy right here. Hold on, let me see. Is my hold on. Hold on. Y'all know I'm not AI. Y'all know I'm country. I don't even think they can create an AI for me. Hold on. Let me check on my child real quick and we can get started. It's getting ugly. Hold on. Y'all know I bring y'all into my world. I'm trying to call and see if my child left yet. She ain't answered her phone. She'll call me in a minute. Y'all know I have to check on my child to make my not my child. She's an adult, but my daughter. Trying to see if she left yet for work. U.S. is in a mess right now. So let's start with the recession. Rumors of a recession. So when I last checked, Dow Jones, what is it? Had, let's see. Why is that picture up there? That's weird. That's weird. Why is that picture popping up? But they said that the Dow Jones right now is in a situation where they have dropped, I think, 1,000 points. So let me see, U.S. And so it's a fear of a recession, which I'm like, I saw one person say, y'all just catching up to what's really going on. Recession, we've been here. So let's see. Where can we start? They made some changes to. Oh, let me do my fair use thing so I don't get in trouble. Let's see. Let's go ahead and knock that out real quick. Let's see. Where is it? Here we go. Let's get it going. Let's get it cracking, family. Let's see. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107, of the Copyright Act of 1976. That's the year I was born. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, new reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All right. Let's do this real quick. I don't want to take my little pretty emblem off, but I got to. I hate that because I like my little signal, but I got to put this on here for the safety of the channel. So y'all get these numbers up. Let's get it up because we finna talk for a minute. So right now, the U.S. is in a situation. They are They are right now in a financial upheaval when it comes to the stock market. They said Dow plunges more than 1,000 points amid fears of U.S. economic slowdown. And what I've read so far, the stock market is plunging for the third consecutive trading day. Man, and and I'm reading something with the Dow Jones Industrial Average tumbling more than 1,000 points amid growing fears of an economic downturn sparked by a slowdown in hiring and consumer spending. Let me stop right there. This ain't brand new, y'all. This is not new. This money shortage, folks ain't making money. How long? The crazy thing is they've been lying for a good little minute about, oh, the job market is looking good. Oh, the job market is looking good while companies steady laying folk off. And they ain't done yet. They not done yet. The layoffs are still here. Whatever they thinking, they still laying folks off. And the crazy thing is they think we're stupid. They think we are stupid. Oh man. Man, it says that SP 500 slid 160 points or 3% to 5,186 on Monday. The index's biggest one-day drop in nearly 2 years, according to FactSet. The tech-heavy Nasdaq sinks 3.4 as investors fled some of the big tech players that until recently had powered the U.S. market higher. Now I heard. Let me stop right here because they're talking about how Apple has plummeted or they're losing. I heard that Warren Buffett sold all of his Apple shares. Did y'all hear about that? When I saw that, I was like, wait a minute. They said I think it's Warren Buffett sold, I think it was Warren Buffett, sold, they said Warren Buffett cuts stakes at Apple by nearly 50%. So Apple stock slid after Warren Buffett cut stakes or cut stocks. He cut his ties with them by 50%. So Apple is feeling it right now. But one thing I know about this type of situation, when they lose that much, layoffs are coming. And the thing is, it's getting worse and worse and worse. It's getting worse. They said Dow Jones Industrial Average tumbles 1,034 points, shedding 2.6 of its value. Earlier in the day, it had lost more than 1,200 points, 1,200 points. But the market regained some of their early losses as Wall Street digested Monday data for the Institute of Supply Management Service Index, which showed that service employment picked up in July. So ultimately, what they're saying is because of service industry increasing far as workforce, that's kind of saved them. But yeah, it still ain't saving the overall situation right now. They're in a situation of one, the market is tanking because not only that, and I'm looking right now at the news. It says Dow Jones closes at 1,000 points. I guess loss. I think. Oh man, it moved too fast. They said the U.S. market hits with the worst loss in nearly 2 years. I'm looking at CNN right now, y'all, as I'm talking to y'all. And it ain't getting no better. It ain't getting no better, y'all. This is getting interesting. So I'm going to play this video. We've talked now. I'm getting ready to, let's see. Let's look at what Sky News is saying. You know, US ain't gonna tell you 100% the truth. I ain't gonna tell you that the sky's falling. They're gonna try to use a bunch of words, but let's see what Sky News is saying. All right, fair use. Oh man, hold on. We share. No, I don't want to renew. I got a message saying, "Do you want to renew your services?" I used to have YouTube services to be able to watch movies and stuff, but I got rid of it. Let's see. And I got the message. So here we go. Fair use.
There's a lot to get across tonight. I'm joined now to do that. Sky News host and National Affairs editor at Daily Telegraph, James Morrow. And also joining me, One Nation Chief of Staff, James Ashby. Gents, welcome. I'll speak to a security expert in a moment about the increase in our terror threat levels. But I want to start with economic security concerns. These ones coming out, of course, from the US today. Stateside, weaker than expected employment data sparked concerns about a recession, causing a massive $100 billion sell-off on our stock exchange when markets opened this morning. Global financial player Goldman Sachs now says the probability of a recession's risen from 15 to 25%. Unemployment in the States has hit 4.3%. Doubts are growing too about the value of some big tech firms. James Morrow, first to you. The Democrats have been leaning pretty hard on growth as part of their big re-election strategy, but that's now in jeopardy, isn't it, given the impact of job losses in the swing states that are already a hard ask for Kamala Harris?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we've seen some really shocking jobs numbers out of the states, and job numbers, when you take them month by month and quarter by quarter, really do indicate that a recession is coming. Now, this comes after, as you say, the Democrats tried to wear the hat of responsible economic managers, but behind the scenes, of course, Congress and the Fed have all been pumping money into the economy to try and keep things moving, at least to the election. Now, it looks like this game of playing chicken, essentially, with the economy and the election, that's not going so well. And these unemployment numbers show that it's those people who are working class, those people without university degrees who are the hardest hit. These people will be in those swing states that Donald Trump is absolutely counting on, the Rust Belt states, the industrial heartland of the U.S., while Kamala Harris tries to pick up, the urban elite coastal swing states. So that's happening there. But at the same time, we're going to see a bloody day on Wall Street overnight. I think the NASDAQ futures are saying something like a 5 or 6% decline is tipped for when the market opens. So this is really bad news for the Democrats, but it's also really bad news, of course, for an awful lot of people who own shares in America and their retirements, and so many workers who are the victims of the way politics have been played with the American economy.
Yeah, this is really serious. It's dominated the headlines around the world. James Ashby here. Our Reserve Bank is already saying we could be on the brink of the next global financial crisis. You and I work.
So, y'all, I want to stop right there because people don't realize how significant this is. I mean, U.S. is at one time was wait a minute, y'all. While I'm talking to y'all, they said North Korea deploys hundreds of missile launchers near southern border. Y'all, this just popped up on my phone. We'll talk about that in a minute. But y'all, that's serious. When we're dealing with the economy here, this economy has been a driver. Now, keep in mind, I know everybody's saying BRICS. BRICS has to get, they're getting momentum, but it takes time to get momentum. Because BRICS, I don't really believe that the world economy will be saved by BRICS. I really believe that the world economy is going to hit a low, and it's going to hit such a low to the point that it's going to be it would be irreversible. Because the thing is, everything is so heavily invested, and it also includes your 401ks. Your 401ks, they gonna drop too. People don't realize 401ks fluctuate based off the health of the company. Today, you may see that your 401k is doing good, but tomorrow it's doing horrible. But with that being said, this right here is going to be something that is going to be catastrophic to the world, ultimately, because so many countries have invested within this country, because so much money flows out of this country into other countries, meaning, imports and exports, and how important it works. That right there is that's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But let's keep going.
Together during the last one, it was pretty horrific in there at Parliament House trying to protect all of the Australian businesses and banks. We know we've got our bank, our RBA meeting tomorrow. Anyone with a mortgage is on tenterhooks. We've got runaway inflation. We've got big spending from the government. I always go here to the NDIS. It's pretty grim here in Australia too.
Yeah, I think the only stock I noticed today that really didn't fall was gold. Gold stocks seem to hold up pretty well. I was glad two of my companies did all right, but everything else, yeah, it was a bloodbath, and we aren't through the worst of it yet. It started last week. It's only going to continue. This is where our federal government need to recognise that a lot of our wealth is coming at the moment from the exports from mining and agriculture. If there is a downturn across the globe, God forbid that our housing stocks also take a hit, because that will then see dire straits hit so many families here, so many investors too, who provide roofs over the head of so many renters. So we've got a lot riding on this, and the old saying, when America sneezes and Australia catches the cold, didn't that stack up today? Really sad.
If you only list your vacation home on Airbnb.
I'm glad you said that, because people got to realize that it shows, like I said, I understand everybody's real big on BRICS. I don't knock BRICS. But if there is another economy that's thriving, that can save, why would the scriptures say, Revelation says that all the nations will mourn because of the fall of Babylon? Because the Babylon is the main central nervous system for the financial markets. And we have to admit it. U.S. has been, they've gotten drunk off of the blood of this country. And the money has been flowing in and out, in and out, in and out. And what happens is when we start having financial issues, that means all these bills that they create to help other countries, it's going to dwindle. Ukraine getting money, Israel getting money, other nations getting money for aid and support. Then, not to mention, the consumer market will be impacted. If the U.S. crib falls apart because of the U.S. economy falling apart or slowing down, that means import and exports will decrease. Import and exports are the main central nervous system of our nation and other nations that work with us. But what's hurting too, as well as all these sanctions, that can ultimately, hurt. That will be what's one of the things that hurt the U.S. because they created bad blood. But a situation like BRICS has to get time, momentum to be the next central nervous system, or the next hub for finances to flow in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. So that's why they're going to be like mourning because of the fall of Babylon. The fall of Babylon is going to be something that is going to impact. It's going to be a worldwide event that is going to, if the U.S. economy, think about it and be honest with everybody. I know everybody is just not excited, but everybody talks about BRICS. What if the market crashed today? U.S. is in a financial upheaval. Do you think the recovery of these other nations will be overnight? Hit 1 if you think it would recover. No, just say yes if you think it recovers overnight, or no, it will recover overnight. I want to see the answers pop up in the chat. I love interaction. I don't think it's going to be an overnight thing. They're going to feel the pain. So yes, if you think the recovery is going to be overnight, yeah, thank you. No, it's not going to be. So they're looking for this savior. Here comes BRICS. BRICS can't be a savior right now because BRICS has not been established. It takes time for a major power to arise and be able to take on the financial, how can I say, the financial, have the financial fortitude to support other nations. And I'm gonna be honest, BRICS doesn't have it right now. So right now, this is not a good time for the economy to fall apart, because guess what? That imports and exports are gonna go out the window. There's gonna be less trade in and out. All these countries are invested in, these different markets are invested in. These countries have become so intertwined with each other that you can't tell what is what and who is who. Everybody is in everybody's pocket. So if I don't eat, nobody else eats. And that's how we are right now. No nation is a divided nation anymore. There were a time where, you had one empire and then functioning by themselves. You had another empire functioning by themselves. You had all these different little empires doing their own thing. So if one fall, it doesn't impact the other as much. Now it's not silos of empires. It's one single empire that small empires are feeding from. And if that empire falls, everything connected to it is going to fall. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. So while that's going on, you have a situation that goes, I'm about to go into the next part of it, the UK riots. Have y'all heard about what's going on in the UK right now? Yes or no? Have y'all heard about what's going on in the UK? The UK right now is, I mean, yep. Y'all have not heard about what's going on? Okay, so I'm going to play something. Let me go to my email real quick and pull this up so y'all can see this. And this guy gives a really good, I think he gives a really good breakdown of what's really going on in the UK. Right now, there was a situation in the UK, and this young man, young black man, went into a big event full of pretty much European UK kids were having this big event. I think it was a Katy Perry dance off or yoga party or something. And he went in and he started stabbing every single child, all the children he came in contact with. And I think 3 kids passed away. Now the UK is in an uproar and they're attacking Muslims and people of color. So the brown and the black right now are trying to protect themselves. And I mean, it is a full out, they are concerned, and it's going from, and let me play it real quick. Let me see. Here it is. I found it. Hold on, y'all. Fair use. Let me share.
Should be concerned. So I'm sure you guys have heard, but this is what's really going on in the UK, and this is why everyone around the globe should be concerned. So unfortunately, 3 young children were taken from us this past Monday, ages from 6 to 9. And their names were BB King, Elsie Stancombe, and Elise Egwa. The 3 innocent victims were unlived while attending a Taylor Swift dance yoga party this past Monday. And we should also acknowledge that there were 10 other victims as well, but they fortunately survived. Now, the suspect in these heinous crimes is Axel Rudakabana. He's at age of 17 years old. Now, this is not a recent photo of him. This is a photo of him when he was much younger. Now, what has made this situation much, much, much worse is the fact that social media has gotten a hold of it, and now social media is doing what social media normally does. It spreads misinformation. Because what has happened is this has become a very racist and very xenophobic issue, to the point where it's looking like there is going to be a somewhat semi-race war in the UK. Misinformation spread that the fact that the assailant was possibly an immigrant or migrant, and he was Muslim. And because social media and the people who uses it doesn't really do too much research, a whole riot has started. Far-right groups have taken a hold of this issue where they are attacking random black and brown people for something they have nothing to do with. They're throwing things at the police. They're attacking police. If I'm not mistaken, I've even seen someone blow up a whole police station. Yeah, this is how bad it's getting. This young man was not a migrant. He was not Muslim. He was born in Britain. He is British. Sadly, there is a hyphe issue in the UK, and mental issues is very prominent. But we don't know what was his reasoning for even doing this. There is no reason. And what should be a concern for everybody is that, especially here in the US, is that the way social media has been rampant this week. I mean, just there's so many stories of people or stories of just people making up stuff and then creating this rage in people that is people just going nuts. And that is what's concerning about this, is that with this election that's coming up in November, if things doesn't go the way that some people feel that it should go, what is going to be the reaction?
Pausing right here for a brief second. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, it's getting tense. And somebody said that and I agree, they don't want to try that here, but I think they're gonna try. I really believe that they possibly could try it here. Now, how long it lasts? Oh man, I'm from Memphis. I'm not in Memphis right now, but okay. I'm looking at Jay's message. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, this is interesting, and you can feel even Rio, get out of there. You can feel the tension here as well, especially with this election. People don't realize how this election is on one end dangerous, but on the other end it is what it is. You got what is it? You got the Republicans. Who are predominantly mostly, white Americans, and they beginning to say things like, they're taking our jobs and they doing all these things, and it's starting to, you hear little rumbles of it, especially if you hear what went on in Nashville with the I think Aryan Nation group that popped up, and they were marching up and down Nashville. So something is going on and you feel it. I feel like whatever's going on in the UK, it's going to trickle down over here. I really believe it. So I'll keep going.
We are already on the brink of what looks like a civil war in this country, and I hate to say that. These 3 young ladies losing their lives should be the main focus from everyone, and finding solutions on how we can pick up on the signs of mental issues amongst people, because no sane person will go to a dance yoga party to go on live people. That's not a rational person. That's a very evil person that the signs were there and people just ignored it. We are dictated by people on social media that have their own agendas. I've seen time and time again of these warnings of we need to lower the temperature. But when you have a platform where people are making money and they're monetizing on people's rage and they're using it as for their engagement, they would do anything. We live in an unstable society where money is the root, the lead cause for everyone to go ahead and do whatever they feel they need to do. And no one is thinking straight. Everyone is just going along, and they're not realizing the possible repercussions of their actions and their choices. And
now, this stock market can play a very key component to cause all hell. Oh, I hate to say it like this, but that's the only thing I can say. All hell to break loose. All heck to break loose. I'm sorry, y'all. One being, if we go into, let's say, a depression, let's say that, that means everybody's going to be impacted. What's the way that they do? How do they do it? They always blame our people as being the culprit behind it. They always blame our people. They always find a way to blame our people. So if the stock market crashes, they're not looking at it's the upper class that's snatching the money out, that's causing these jobs to come up short, that's causing the economy to go the way it's going. They're not going to see that. They're going to see, and I'm going to play a video of something that someone said in the UK, and it sounds just like what they're saying over here. And I'm not trying to fearmonger, and y'all know I'm not a fearmongerer, but yet it's still, this is kind of, interesting. But they're going to look at it and have tunnel vision and say, it's y'all that's the problem. We're sitting there saying we're impacted just like you. So I'll continue on, and I'm going to show you a video of what some angry individuals in the UK and what they were saying out of ignorance. It was very ignorant, but emotions are high. And the first thing they love to blame is them. They're the problem. And really, we're not the problem.
Things they put out on these social media platforms. But this right here should be a concern for everyone, because it is getting worse and I don't see an end in sight. And everyone in this country, let this be a mirror of what could potentially happen. And if this happens in America, it's going to be 10 times worse. 10 times.
You're right. If it happens here, it's going to be 10 times worse. It'll be 10 times worse. And the thing is, I'm going to play a video, but I kind of don't want to play it because it's a lot of cussing. But Black people here in America are, I don't want to say we're built different, because my people over in the UK, my people that look like me in the UK, they built just like us. The only difference is the US, they got access to guns. Individuals have access to guns. And I'm going to be honest, some of these people are already trigger happy anyway. And we going to stand 10 toes down. I'm just going to be honest. And I'm not saying my people in the UK not. I believe they're about that life as well. But here it's just like, you got to be 10 times worse. And what brought my attention to this? Hold on. And I'm going to play the video that they take her video down. Because they've been taking videos down left and right. Yep. I think they took her video down. I was watching this video this morning. Did I save it? Hold on. My daughter taught me how to go back to my saved videos. Hold on. Rio. Oh my gosh, stop. Let me see. Watch search history. No, not search history. Watch history. It's good to have a child that know how to work TikTok better than you. Rio, stop. Hold on. Rio doing the most, y'all. Hold on. Don't leave me, y'all. Let me find that video. I've been looking at TikTok off and on all day today. Let me see. I'm getting close to it. I thought I saved it. Okay. Hold on, y'all. Bear with me. Bear with me. I should have saved it, but I didn't. I didn't think about saving it. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. My daughter's calling. Okay, I'm back. I've been talking the whole time. So I'm going to play a video real quick, y'all. This is why this is interesting. I want y'all to listen. And this isn't the video that I'm looking for right now. But I want you to listen. It's really quick. Really quick. It's going to go by real quick. But you're going to pay attention to the narrative, the things that they're saying. You may not understand what they're saying. Because I couldn't hear for a second. Hold on. Hold on. Let me share and y'all see what I'm talking about. Y'all see that? I told y'all it's quick, but the thing is, we want our country back now. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Yep. You feel it. I sat there and I said, first and foremost, it's ignorant. Because Yeah, it doesn't make sense what they're saying. And the US could never say that because I'm sitting here saying, first and foremost, the Native Americans here can actually, ask for their stuff back. And y'all been playing with them like they ain't got no, I wonder if they took her video down. It was one of the first videos that I saw. Hold on, y'all.
As protests.
It was a good video. And she was talking, and sister was like, I'm not here for it. It's just that bad right now. I can't find it. If I find it later, I'll play it for y'all. But this sister was like, this ain't what the business is. And they're cutting up just that bad right now. I'm seeing. For all my people in the UK, please let me know if y'all good. Please let me know if y'all good. Please keep tabs on them. So here is a bigger report. So all right, let's see. Let me start this video. And this just came out an hour ago. Now, here we go. Sharing. Right now, let's see, far right. Fair use, fair use. This is in the UK.
Criminal violence and disorder has no place on Britain's streets. We've been clear to the police that they have our full backing in taking the strongest possible action against perpetrators, including we're making sure that there are more prosecutors, there are sufficient prison places, and also that the courts stand ready, because anyone who engages in this kind of disorder needs to be clear that they will pay the price.
Stop their votes! Stop their votes! Stand up! Stand up!
It's only my second time here. Yeah, I've only ever been here once.
A wave of violence is gripping towns across the United Kingdom. Protesters threw chairs at police, smashed store windows, and looted. It stems from misinformation surrounding the stabbing rampage that killed 3 little girls. The attacker was not an immigrant, but far-right protesters say Britain's border crisis is out of control. While they blame asylum seekers for crime, people who moved legally there to Britain are living in fear.
Muslim people, we're not terrorists.
Everyone deserves to have a beautiful life, a peaceful life.
More than 375 people have been arrested, and more arrests are expected. The new prime minister has dismissed calls to send in the army to restore order.
British police on Sunday clashed with far-right rioters in the northern England town of Rotherham, who were attempting to break into a Holiday Inn Express hotel that was housing some asylum seekers. The rioters broke windows and started a small fire before violently clashing with police. Sunday's events come amid a string of anti-immigration protests across the United Kingdom, following unfounded rumors that the suspect behind a stabbing attack at a children's Taylor Swift-themed dance class was Muslim and had immigrated to the UK by boat. The 17-year-old suspect was born in the UK and has no known links to Islam. Since the deadly stabbing attack, rioters lit fires, overturned cars, destroyed storefronts, and clashed with authorities and counter-protesters alike across the United Kingdom. In Southport, rioters also clashed with police near a local mosque before setting fires there.
The Muslim communities are terrorized. If I'm going to use the word, they are terrorized. They fear for their safety. They fear that they cannot go out. They fear that anything could happen.
On Sunday, newly elected Prime Minister Keir Starmer pledged to stop the riots.
I utterly condemn the far-right thuggery we've seen this weekend. Be in no doubt, those that have participated in this violence will face the full force of the law.
Concern over immigration has been a hot-button issue in the United Kingdom, and critics say tensions have only increased as far-right politicians have pegged a rise in immigration as the reason for a variety of issues facing the UK.
Fair use one more time. Y'all, this is getting interesting. And so what's funny is my brother Yakoba, shout out to Yakoba and Tayu and Dante. Yakoba been giving me a list of things to talk about. And I'm like, it's so much going on right now that you keep giving. I'm getting these lists and I'm like, Lord, I'll be online till midnight with all the stuff that's transpiring. Because you got that going on in the UK. And then guess what? Iran has promised to hit and destroy Israel. I'm sitting here like, Lord, I'm watching this online and it ain't getting no better. I'm sitting there, I'm like, what's next? What's next? It's going to be purple elephant in the sky. That's how it feels. I'm like, oh yeah, this is getting interesting. This is getting interesting, y'all. It's just that crazy right now. So going into my next thing, y'all see, I keep saying, now going to my next thing. Usually, y'all notice I stick to one topic and stay there. Stay there. I can't because it's going to be like this. It's going to be like this going forward, y'all. Now going to the next thing. It's going to be so much stuff going on. It's going to be, I think the biggest thing that would ever pop off where it's just going to be crazy is if what's going on in the UK happens in the US. If it happens in the US, that's not pretty. That's not pretty at all. Not to say the UK ain't taken away from my people over on the other side of the pond. I'm praying for y'all, but if it goes down here, y'all, do y'all understand the depth of how that can turn out? Because you already got black folks tired. Black folks tired. They tired. And that's all it takes is one incident for something. He said, please don't speak that. I ain't trying to speak it, but y'all know better than I do that they don't care. Our folks don't care. They here for the smoke. And that's that. Their favorite phrase is, I'm here for the smoke. People that say, I'm here for the smoke means that they are literally here for whatever you finna bring, but you best to be ready for what we gonna bring. So it is getting quite interesting. So then now moving on to the next thing, and news break keeps coming up on my phone. Okay, so Iran and Israel. Y'all. I'm just going to play this, and I'm going to say fair use at the beginning, because this is 14 minutes long. So, this came out about 21 hours ago. I'm going to see if I can find something more recent. Hold on. But I don't want to lose that, because that one is a good one. I saw some of that one. Hold on. Let me see if anything else came out yet. Y'all, when I tell y'all, it is so much. Let me put my filter on here and see. There's so much going on that I gotta filter things in to see what's gonna happen, what's been said in the last hour. Okay, so I'm gonna play this. Fair use, fair use.
I'm your host, Carla Harab. Let's continue on with some international headlines as we detail the growing tensions in the Middle East. I'd like to put up this tweet right now. Barak Ravid saying, Scoop, Blinken told G7 Iran and Hezbollah could attack Israel in the next 24 hours. As we continue to cover this, there are fears that the Iranian attack on Israel could expand the scope of the war. Fox News correspondent Alex Hogan is in Tel Aviv with the latest.
Its military footprint here in the Middle East, National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby spoke about the specific need today on Fox News Sunday.
Look, when the Supreme Leader says he's going to avenge, we have to take that seriously. Now, I don't know what they're going to do or when they're going to do it, but we got to make darn sure that we're ready and that we have the capabilities in the region to be able to help Israel defend itself and, quite frankly, defend our own people, our own facilities, our own national security interests.
The IDF is preparing to defend itself while expecting another attack similar to the massive strike in April when Iran launched more than 300 drones and missiles against Israel in one night alone. Iran says that was in retaliation for an Israeli strike on a diplomatic facility in Damascus, which killed a top Iranian general. Now, following the death this past week of this Hamas political leader, Iran has promised revenge, and Hezbollah's leader has promised a new phase of the fighting. At the same time, continued cross-border attacks. The Israeli military says it took out a launcher in Lebanon after this played out last night. The IDF says Hezbollah fired about 30 projectiles into northern Israel overnight. And new fighting taking place in Gaza. Hamas says that Israeli strikes in the last day killed as many as 18 people and dozens more are wounded after attacks on a hospital and an old school, but both of which the IDF claims were being used to make weapons. At the same time, long lines forming at airports as foreign nationals from countries like the UK, US, and France are being told to leave the country as soon as possible. In Tel Aviv, Israel, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
Thank you to Alex Hogan for that report. I'd like to continue on that conversation now by bringing in national security analyst, retired Marines intelligence officer, Hal Kempfer. Hal, always good to see you. I'd like to start by talking about what the strategy for Iran could look like as that response is expected, and already the IDF and the U.S. are mobilizing forces in the region.
Corral, they could do a number of different things. They could do a repeat of April, where they launched I think it was about 120 drones, and then a bunch of ballistic missiles, about 170, and then there were some cruise missiles.
Do y'all understand the depth of what's going on? Do y'all understand what's going on? I'm gonna keep playing it.
And that was over 300 different types of strikes, if you will, or missiles and drones mix that was going towards Israel. However, in April, they kind of telegraphed their move. They kind of let everybody know this is what they were probably going to do. The U.S. was ready for them. The UK had forces in there. There were Arab allies that were ready to do intercept missions. And of course, then the Israeli Iron Dome system, and all of that intercepted it quite capably. The most dangerous course of action is if they do something like that again. At least that's assessed by the Institute for the Study of War, that they would do something like that, but they haven't appeared to be telegraphing much, if anything, what the retaliation is going to be. And of course, they're also very likely to use their proxies in the area. You just saw what happened with Hezbollah launching out of southern Lebanon. Well, imagine that much bigger. They've got about 150,000 missiles in southern Lebanon that Hezbollah controls, and they could easily overwhelm the Iron Dome system. And then they have proxy, Shiite extremist proxies, if you will, in Syria and Iraq that could launch simultaneously from there onto not just Israel, but also launching onto U.S. bases and U.S. facilities throughout the Middle East, particularly in Syria and Iraq, or maybe elsewhere in the Middle East. And then, of course, we saw that the Houthis got a drone into Tel Aviv, and there is some thought that the Houthis could also do something at the same time. And the idea is that they would have a huge amount of drones and missiles.
Y'all, I wouldn't be shocked if we don't see something in the news this week. I would not be shocked right now. I think everybody is just bracing themselves to see what's going to happen, but I wouldn't be shocked if we don't see anything transpire. Now, Iran and all the rest of them said peace talks off the table. We're done talking. What was it Ayatollah? The Ayatollah said, destroy Israel. I saw that today. I think that's what they call them. The Ayatollah said, wipe them off, literally destroy them. I was like, oh my goodness. And he meant it. Like and when I saw that, I should have saved it, but he like destroy him. He said, we're done playing with y'all. We're done playing with y'all. So we are smack dab in the middle of World War III. Ask yourself why the market is doing what it's doing. It's connected to this. The market, you ain't got the market all of a sudden started tanking here recently. Iran and Israel has increased warfare. It's a lot going on right now. So we're going to see a lot more things transpire outside of the market crashing, outside of these internal nations fighting amongst each other. We're going to see, I really believe we're going to see a increase in civil wars. We see one about to transpire in the UK because the Muslim men are in the middle of the street like we here for it. And these some big brawly Islamic men in the UK. And they like, we're not here for that. Then I saw another video in the UK where you had Black shopkeepers or shop owners standing in front of their shops, protecting their shops. So you got internal unrest. Internal unrest. Then you got Iran and you got Israel. Y'all, I may have to reconvene because I'm hungry. I ain't think all y'all was gonna come all at one time today. Hold on.
And cruise missiles coming at Israel all at the same time, overwhelming that Iron Dome system, overwhelming their air defense system. That's the fear that everyone has. That's certainly the fear that Israel has, that something like that could happen. And that could cause a lot of damage, particularly as with Hezbollah, it could be sustained over a period of days with the sheer amount of missiles that they have available to them.
Thank you so much to the Farmer's Dog for sponsoring today's video. As you saw, our
Al, continuing to speak on the fears that are being felt around the world, I'd like to pull up this tweet here from Fox News correspondent Trey Yings. According to a Wall Street Journal report, it says on Saturday, Iran told Arab diplomats it didn't care if the response triggered a war, according to people familiar with the conversations. And that really is the deep fear that a lot of countries watching out for this are hoping doesn't happen. But let's talk about the likelihood that this response is going to.
I forgot to mention that, and I said that I'm glad that this report says this. But on Saturday, Iran told the Arab diplomats it didn't care if the response triggered a war. They didn't care. When you get to that point, it's no turning back. I hadn't heard about Ireland yet. Oh my gosh. I tell y'all so much going on. Somebody said it's unrest in Ireland right now. They rioting, I think, over there. But they literally said they don't care. And when I saw that, I was like, wow. Wow. Y'all, let me
trigger a broader conflict.
Well, it could trigger a broader conflict. Of course, if you're Nasrallah, the head of Hezbollah, your fear is that you get drawn into this thing and it triggers a war where Israel destroys Hezbollah, but Iran still, survives because of, if nothing else, sheer geography protecting it because it's not adjacent to Israel. It's not even close to Israel, geographically speaking. So that would be the fear that Nasrallah would have, is that they may launch this huge retaliation, that Hezbollah is getting pulled into being part of it, as it appears they already are part of it. And of course, Hezbollah has its own reason to retaliate, completely separate apart from the Hania strike in Tehran, because they lost their military chief in an Israeli strike, or at least what was believed to be an Israeli strike in Beirut, literally that same day, that same night. So what their fear is that they would get pulled in, they would be sacrificed, if you will, in the war of attrition against the Israeli Defense Forces, and that Iran would live to fight another day. And I don't think Nasrallah wants to see his organization, see his force, if you will, basically sacrificed in such a way. So they'd be concerned to that. This could be a much larger war, though. And Israel has a lot of resources, but they don't have infinite resources. And to do attacks to counter the Houthis, to do attacks countering, a massive, counter action to basically neutralize the Hezbollah threat, and then doing whatever else is needed with other proxies around the region. And then, of course, the big one, dealing with Iran all at the same time. That's going to tax their resources. And by the way, if you're talking about something that big, you're talking about a regional war. That's how big that is. I mean, you look at the region, you've pretty much looked at the region. You got Iran, you got Syria, you got Iraq, you got Hamas and Gaza, and then you got the Houthis all the way down at the bottom of the.
And where is Russia and China in Ukraine? I ain't heard nothing about that in the past couple of days. I think I heard something about China. We ain't included them in the conversation. We're only dealing with Iran. Where are the other ones? Yeah, I'm telling y'all. This is going to be an interesting time. It's going to be an interesting time. So, let's see.
Saudi Peninsula, that is a regional war by definition. And that, of course, would be the big concern.
On the screen, we do have a live look out of Jerusalem and Israel, and I'd like to pivot the conversation and talk about their strategies going forward. Here's a tweet from the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. It says, Iran and its minions are looking to surround us in a stranglehold of terrorism. We are determined to stand against them on every front and in every arena, near and far. Whoever seeks to harm us will pay a very heavy price. Every moment and hour that passes, now that we know that this retaliation from Iran is imminent, of course, Israel is trying to strategize on what they're going to do when it does come. So what are the talks happening within Benjamin Netanyahu's cabinet at the moment?
Well, Carl, certainly one of the big talks is dealing with air defense and missile defense. It's also dealing with civil defense, if you will, how the people are going to be arrayed. When do they need to send them down to the shelters? When do they need to move people? I'm sure there's even discussions about should they open up the schools on Monday. If schools are going to be open on Monday, I'm sure some will be. But they're going to be having basic discussions like that, which is going to be when would this hit? How big would it be? What do we have to do to protect the Israeli people and all of this? And so it's going to be a very big discussion. And of course, there's discussion with the U.S. as far as what we're going to do to help intercept any missiles coming into Israel, that could shoot across territory where we have air defense capability, particularly in the Middle East, Persian Gulf area, areas like that. So there's a lot of discussion that's going on across the board. This is potentially a lot of missiles. And Hezbollah, one thing I'd point out, Iran is quite a ways away. So when Iran launches from Iranian territory, there's a lot of early warning that their stuff is coming. Doesn't mean they can intercept everything, but it does mean they have early warning. When you see stuff launched out of southern Lebanon by Hezbollah, or launched even out of Syria or Iraq by other Iranian proxies, that has a much shorter flight time, if you will, a much shorter trajectory, and a much shorter time of warning, if there's much warning at all, that it's coming in. And that's what they're concerned about, is that they would have warning if Iran did it, but if they leveraged all these proxies, they may not. Now, one thing I will say is that I think that was a big wake-up call when the Houthis did that rather elongated flight with the drone that came in from the sea and hit Tel Aviv. I think that was a kind of a wake-up call to say they need to have better 360 air defense all around. They had been expecting missiles and other things to come in from certain areas. They did not expect anything to come in from the sea, apparently. And that probably has been closed off. I imagine they've kind of taken some defensive measures there. And they may be looking at more defensive measures there because they could anticipate that others, seeing that that was a vulnerability, may try to exploit it. Even if it's no longer a vulnerability, they may try to exploit it thinking it is a vulnerability. So these are some of the more...
The 16 by 20 was less than $15. Such an affordable way to
tactical operational discussions that you would see within the Israeli Defense Force. I would say more tactical operational discussions that you would see within the Israeli Defense Forces and certainly with the Prime Minister's office.
Hal, I'm going to bring back this tweet for a moment that I did have on the screen while you were giving us that last answer, saying F-22 Raptors are deploying to the Middle East. A person familiar with the mission told AS Forces magazine. F-22 squadron will add to U.S. Air Force's 3 existing combat aircraft squadrons in the Middle East. F-15Es, F-16s, and A-10s are already deployed to CENTCOM. Hal, I do have one final question before we head to a quick commercial break. And it concerns with how much does the Middle Eastern tensions and also the war in Gaza really are going to change and kind of the direction they're going to take. How much of that rides on this looming attack from Iran?
Well, if Iran does a major attack, if they launch a huge strike, whoa, I guess I better be careful what I say around here. Anyway, but if Iran launches a major strike, what I think we could see is that essentially the whole region could be ablaze for a while. And I don't see a situation where if Iran launches a huge strike and Hezbollah weighs in, that Israel would hold back on basically responding to whatever Hezbollah did. You know, Iran is a further away enemy. They have ways of dealing with that, but it is there is some distance there. Hezbollah is right on the border. They are already exchanging fire daily. And if they weigh in on this, they could do a sequential thing, which is, you know, basically respond to Iran, fix them in place, cause attrition and damage, but neutralize Hezbollah. That would probably be the first thing. But that's going to change the whole thing. At that point, you have a major war much beyond what we see in Gaza. And it's probably going to change the world picture and the diplomatic picture around the world as well, in terms of how everyone is looking at the war in Israel. By the way, I would point out one thing. A lot of the protests, a lot of the things are focused on what's going on right now, are focused on what's happening in the Gaza Strip. And many of them are saying, hey, Israel is using too much force and dealing with Hamas in the Gaza Strip, and also concerns about what Israel is doing in the West Bank. Once there's a war where there's external enemies, in this case, Hezbollah coming out of southern Lebanon and Lebanon itself, and certainly Iran, that changes things. And last April, we saw that shift. When there was an external attack from Iran on Israel, the language changed, the tenor changed, the diplomatic environment changed for quite some time, because Israel, the nation state, was under attack from a foreign enemy, in this case, Iran. I would anticipate something like that will probably happen again.
All right, Hal, we're going to leave it at that when it comes to the rising tensions in the Middle East, but stick with us. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about another big story that we're also following, and the latest when it comes to the war between Russia and Ukraine. Ukraine receiving new F-16 fighter jets. We'll have the latest.
All right. Oh my God. When U.S. is playing spades and underbidding. You right. They are. Oh my goodness. Then she just said Ukraine just received new fighter jets. Yeah, I can't be out here all day. I got to get some food in my stomach. If I end this really quick, will y'all come back tonight? I'm not going to be too late. I'm going to stay on for a little bit longer, but I got to get some food. I have been, well, first, y'all, I've been doing some traveling and stuff, so I'm in a hotel. So right now, I am hungry. So yeah, I gotta. It ain't done yet, because we ain't even talked about what happened in Bangladesh. We have not talked about what happened in Bangladesh. I don't know what time. I gotta see. Hold on. Okay, so y'all know me. Well, let me wait until Madison gets here. I'm actually in New York, but I'm getting ready to leave and go somewhere else. So I'm gonna be in and out. So I'm back here, but I'm in a hotel because I'm in the process of looking for an apartment. So y'all keep me lifted. But y'all, I'm telling y'all, this is this is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting because we got the incident in Bangladesh, and then you hear her just say, Ukraine just received some new fighter jets. New fighter jets. And we just said Russia and China. And here it is. They done brought them up. Y'all know I ain't gonna be too late because I gotta go to bed tonight. Y'all, it's so much going on right now. Words can't explain. That's all I gotta say. Words can't explain what's going on. But we gotta brace ourselves. We got to brace ourselves. Yeah, and Mr. P ain't playing right now. So I'm like, they keep messing with him. Why does the U.S. keep playing with him? Man, I need y'all to leave him alone. Putin is not, he quiet for a reason. Y'all just keep on messing with him. And I'm like, whew. And then this presidential race. Y'all, it's so much is going to happen in the next couple of months. It's going to be interesting. I think in the next couple of days, the Democrats are supposed to have their convention. So that's going to be interesting too. So, but y'all, we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to unpack about what's going on. Israel and Iran, I got a feeling we're going to see something transpire this week. I just got a strange, and I might be wrong. I just got a strange feeling. We finna see something pop off this week. They really like, Iran just really said they don't care if this turns into a war. They said, we don't care. Y'all can do whatever, but we know what we gonna do. And that's the attitude. So what I'm gonna do is I'll get my food and bring it back to the hotel, and I'll eat and talk to y'all. I'm gonna make sure not smack. I may bring my let some people come up and tell me what their thoughts are. But yeah, it's getting ready to go down. It's getting ready to go down. It's so much going on. What else? You got the incident in Bangladesh I got to touch on. I know right now, let me give you a little snippet of what's going on in Bangladesh. I'm going to play a little bit of what's going on in Bangladesh. Hold on. Let me play a little bit of that, and then we'll go from there.
Away from events here in the UK to some breaking news that we're getting from Bangladesh. We are hearing that the Bangladesh Prime Minister has resigned and left the country, her destination unknown. This comes as thousands of people have stormed the Prime Minister's residence. What we're going to do is join my colleague Azadeh Mashiri, who is talking to Samira Hussain.
On the ground. Look, ever since these protests broke out about a month ago, many foreign journalists have been trying to get into the country, but no one has really been able to get any visas to allow us to give us some of that firsthand accounts, which is why we're depending on a lot of freelance journalists that are in the country. Now, one person that the BBC is working with right now has said that really he can see lots of people celebrating on the streets, hugging, exchanging garlands, a real sense of a jovial kind of atmosphere. And that would lead people to believe that, in fact, Sheikh Hasina has resigned from her position. And there are many media reporting that she has actually already left the country. If that is, in fact, the case, it is a dramatic turn of events for Bangladesh and for the Prime Minister. Remember, Sheikh Hasina only got, there were elections, rather, in Bangladesh just earlier this year in January, in which Sheikh Hasina won her fourth term. But those elections were mired in a lot of a confusion because, or rather, there were questions about the election's legitimacy because the main opposition party did not contest in those elections, and there were crackdowns on other opposition members that were trying to campaign. And so I think there's just a lot of question about democracy and rule in Bangladesh for a very long time.
Well, to that point, Samira, I also want to confirm a BBC correspondent has now told us, one of our colleagues has told us that the Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, has resigned. Now, as a reminder for anyone who is joining us right now, we've been covering the protests in Bangladesh. The Prime Minister has now resigned and, according to reports, has fled the country. That's as protesters have stormed her residence. Now, as a reminder, student leaders have declared a campaign of civil disobedience, as they put it, to demand that Sheikh Hasina step aside. That seems to have been successful, and it's been at times violent. On Sunday, at least 90 people were killed and hundreds more injured in clashes between police and tens of thousands of anti-government protesters. And the death toll does include at least 13 police officers. Samira, could you just put this into context for us, given the hold that Sheikh Hasina has had on the country in the past, how big a moment this would be for the country?
Look, Sheikh Hasina's government, not just this particular term, but her last few terms, have been mired in controversy. Lots of members of the international community critical of her increasingly authoritarian regime. Now, remember, these particular protests started about a month ago, and originally it was student-led, and they were demanding an end to these quotas that exist for civil government jobs. And that was in fact overturned by the country's Supreme Court. But since then, we've seen that the protests have really swelled, and it became much more of a movement to try and remove Sheikh Hasina from power. It became very much an anti-government movement. Now, the ruling government, of course, has called the protesters terrorists and said that they're just operating on behalf of the opposition parties in the country. But the fact that we're seeing that Sheikh Hasina has actually resigned, has left her position, and is now going to another country, a safer country, in all likelihood, she's probably going to come here to India. I mean, this is a really dramatic move for Bangladesh. And now, of course, it begs the question of what's going to happen in terms of government. What is the leadership structure going to look like? And is this going to end up leaving some kind of power vacuum? Now it's going to be really interesting to see just what happens on the ground.
And Samira, just for context for our audiences, we're showing live pictures from one of the broadcasters that's showing.
I've been playing this for a minute. Let me hurry up and say something before they flag me. Oh my gosh, y'all. While we're talking, breaking news just popped up on my Newsbreak app that North Korea blasts U.S. nuclear power plant. North Korea, no, that's not the one. They said North Korea deploys hundreds of missiles launchers near south border. It said North Korea leader Kim Jong-un has overseen a ceremony marking the transfer of 100. We're going to talk about that later. It's like I said, there's so much going on right now. But this right here is new information to me. I knew that it was something going on, and I saw it pop up this morning, but I didn't know to the depth of what was going on. So right now, Bangladesh and India right now are just literally about to go in. They're having their own civil unrest. Y'all notice what's going on? In each individual country, every pocket is having internal wars. Except for, I haven't heard anything about China having internal wars. I haven't heard anything about, I heard Russia has something, but I think they nipped that in the bud really quick. Haven't heard anything about Iran. Have y'all noticed all these other countries are not having a bunch of infighting, but the other countries are? Have you noticed that? Even, it's interesting. I'll say that much. So it's a lot of infighting going on, internal and external entities playing all at the same time.
some of the protests that have been taking place. It's from Channel 24. And we're seeing people celebrating, we're seeing people march. A few moments ago before, we were watching people storm the residence of Sheikh Hasina, as we mentioned earlier, the palace that she is said to have fled. Samira, could you remind us of the police response that had taken place? How does something like this succeed and happen? What happened to the military, for example? Because there were questions, weren't there, about whether the military would intervene against students?
Right. And there was no sense that the military was going to intervene, which perhaps could lead to questions about the loyalties of the military and whether that has in fact shifted. I mean, look, it's not just the student-led protests that are going to bring government down solely, at least perhaps in this situation, but it is probably going to be a confluence of events. You know, there is going to be questions about how much support that Sheikh Hasina had within her own government, and perhaps she was losing confidence there. You know, the police crackdown on these student protests was really quite harsh, very severe. We saw that, you know, some 300 people have died in over the last month or so. And that is worse than, I mean, that's the violence that they haven't seen since the country has fought its war of independence back in 1971. So this is a very significant moment in Bangladesh's politics and in the country.
And Samira, I don't know if you can see these pictures, but we're still showing them from the broadcaster, the local broadcaster there, and we're seeing people with chairs, sofas. It seems that these are coming out of that residence. Again, Sheikh Hasina is said to have fled with her sister to a safer place. We still are not sure of the location, but it looks like people are grabbing anything they can find and destroying the premises as they declare this sort of victory. I do want to again pause and reflect on what a big moment this would be, given Sheikh Hasina has essentially been in charge since 2009 in her late 70s, and now it would seem she's been toppled by this student-led movement. Samira, could you put into context what sort of victory this is for the students? Because they've questioned democracy, whether democracy truly exists in Bangladesh. How have elections taken?
Y'all, I'm gonna do a little more information about the backstory. I know some of the backstory of Bangladesh. I don't want to speak too soon, but hold on. I may have to cut out. Hello, you ready? All right, y'all. I'm gonna have to cut out because my daughter, her stop, she got dropped off at the wrong stop. Something happened. So she good though. But we're gonna reconvene because I want to do a little bit more digging when it comes to Bangladesh. But I'm shooting for tonight to do a live because I want to hear y'all's thoughts on this. I'm gonna drop the link moment. Y'all have some act right though. And we'll sit down and we'll have conversation about this. So please, everybody. I already had craziness. Y'all was mad at me a couple days ago. So let's keep it clean. No cussing, no arguing. Let everybody speak. But tonight when we drop the link. Oh yeah, just drop the link. And if anybody knows anything about my channel, when it is drop the link, anything goes. It turns into y'all remember them wrestling matches? how it ends up with one person and then it ends up with two people, and then all of a sudden everybody on the ring on opposing sides fighting. Yeah, that's what it turns out to be. All out interesting conversation. So stay tuned tonight. I'm going to give you some food because I haven't eaten since early this morning, and we will reconvene. Family, thank you. Let me take this off my screen. Thank y'all for supporting me, and it's going down. Y'all have some act right tonight. All right, keep up with the news. It's flooding in Florida. Y'all, oh my goodness. All right, there's so much going on. All right, I'll see y'all later. Thank y'all.